And here we are. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, November 11th. It is Veterans Day in the year 2022. I just want to start the broadcast by saying thank you to every veteran. It is because of you that we are able to do this. You had a lot of beach parties on your own to allow us to have the type of beach parties that we love. So I want to thank you all for that. Thanks to veterans, anyone that has been in service for us, and thank you so much. Carolyn Goslin, here you are, right? Badass realtor, probably one of the best supporters of people in this business that I've met over the years. And we'll get into that too, about your book and stuff. But I want to thank you for coming on. And here we are, Real Estate Talk, TGIF, episode 231. That's 228 weeks in a row. This is the longest running live broadcast in real estate in North America. So I had a little argument with Byron Lazine last week. He got a podcast, but it's not live, so I still win. Anyway, so we're going to be right back and have a great conversation about the real estate business, about everything, right after this quick intro. Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Finale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Good morning, everybody. That's the quick intro we've got. I like it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, so here we are. Carolyn, I have one question I ask everybody that joins the broadcast that I have to start this with, and is, what does TGIF stand for?
Well, thank God it's Friday.
Typically,
is the first thing that comes to mind.
One would think, yes, but actually you're close. Thank God it's finale. That's why we're here. It's my broadcast day finale. Thank God it's finale. And it works. Didn't plan it that way. It just works. Anyway, and welcome.
It dovetails well with Friday.
It does, right?
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you to all the veterans out there as well. That was a great message. You said it perfectly. We owe a lot to them on this Veterans Day. So I just wanted to put that in. And thank you for having me, and congrats on, 228 weeks in a row live. Like, that is not a small feat. So kudos to you and the value that you're bringing the industry. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you. I started this a long time ago because I saw someone that did a crappy job, and I knew that I could do a lot better. And how hard is it to go live every week, depending on where you are? I've been in Florida. I've been all over the country doing these. I've been in hotel rooms, been on balconies. I've been in bars. I've been in coffee shops. I've done them all over the place. And I do them with local agents. To me, you're local, but you're also national, in my opinion. And I do international people as well. On November 20th. What's that?
I said, I'm global, baby.
You are global. And on November 25th, we have a mindset specialist from London coming on the day after Thanksgiving. Anyway, so here we are. Carolyn Goslin, you've been in the real estate business for good, I think, about 15 years. And talk to me about your start, how you got started. Tell me about your story of, what is Carolyn Goslin all about, and how did that happen?
What am I all about? That's a loaded question.
Sure is.
Yeah, to go back to the very beginning, just to give you a kind of a quick rundown. I came to this industry from the my degree was in international affairs, and I was working for a nonprofit in New York City when I had my son. And at the time, young professionals would leave Manhattan, go to Brooklyn, have babies, and then move to the burbs to get a house eventually. So when I had my son, I moved from Brooklyn to Maplewood, New Jersey, to the suburbs of New York City, just like, a lot of my clients now do. And really was faced with having to decide whether to go back to my nonprofit world or try something new. And so I decided to get my real estate license. It was, kind of a fluke. Just having dinner with my family, and I was like, what could be next for me? And we were, kind of banting around ideas. And real estate came up, and it just, my ears perked up. And the next day I was signed up for the class. A few weeks later, I was hanging my shingle at a small boutique luxury brokerage in New Jersey. which eventually that year was merged with Coldwell Banker. And just really started my journey in real estate as a solo agent, having just moved to New Jersey. I didn't know a soul. That first year, sadly, I divorced, became a single mom, and really just went all in, and built my business from the ground up. So it's been a journey, but New Jersey has been a very supportive environment, and spent 5 years with Coldwell Banker. Then moved to Sotheby's International, where I spent the latter part of the last decade. And, over the years, went from a solo agent to a solo agent with an assistant, to a solo agent with an assistant and a buyer agent, to then growing a team. And I think, probably like many of your guests and you have realized, I mean, the whole notion of teams, which started a good 15 years ago, I immediately saw that it was kind of where the industry was going. It just made so much sense. And so now, fast forward, here we are. I recently joined eXp Realty in January. I transitioned my team here. So we're a team of 7, and we're local, but we're also global. So eXp is in 23 countries and counting, and we're excited. So
yeah, it's one of the great things about eXp is that we have actually people we work with in Israel as well, and we're working on expanding into Italy as well. And it's just the way it happens with the collaborative effect and the way we talk to people. But this is a broadcast all about you and how you've gotten into business. Now, you started your business, and everybody has the struggles. Did you have similar struggles to people getting into the business? Was it a quick start for you? How did it start?
It was not a quick start. Nope. So I started in 2008. So, anybody who was in the business in 2008 knows that it was, the crash, the most dire housing crash that we've seen on record. And I decided to get my real estate license that year. So when I entered, it was really crickets. And the first year was super tough. I think I sold 1 house. My second year, I sold 3. It was a blessing in disguise because I learned the business the hard way. And so I would, go into the office every day. There were a lot of my mentors and colleagues, seasoned agents were in the office. So I just listened, I watched, they all were sitting on their hands too, because they had no business because it was so quiet. But I learned the lingo, and I also went all in on kind of educating myself and taking seminars and building my skills. Like I remember my very first listing came from a Daryl Davis seminar. And I don't know if you know Daryl Davis. I think he's from New Jersey.
Yes.
From Long Island. But he came to New Jersey and he did a live seminar, and I attended it. It was like a 2-day seminar at a local hotel. And the second day was like a cold calling day. So he would give us sheets of phone numbers to call. And I remember like getting my first listing at his seminar, and I couldn't believe it. And I was so excited. And, and that was a condo in Springfield, New Jersey. And then later that year, I got into short sales. I remember showing, really some deplorable homes, where it's like dangerous to even walk into them. I mean, they're broken glass, broken flooring, like everything. I remember once there was a flea infested house. I walked out of there, I had fleas on me.
Wow.
I went through the trenches. I'm pretty proud of what I did to get my business started. I never said no to anything, and maybe did some stupid things like walking into some of those homes by myself, but I'm still here. And so, but yeah, the start was not easy, but it's like one of my coaches say, iron forges iron. So learning the business the hard way was, in the end, good for me, because we're entering an uncertain market now, and I'm not scared. Like I've been through one, and
so that's a great comment that you just made to the next comment I was going to make is we talk about the market that we're in today in 2022. This is being broadcast, of course, it's November 11th, 2022. And there's been a market shift. There's been a market change, and the market's going to continue to change. You got into business in 2008, and all of the agents that I know that I collaborate with and work with on a regular basis, and you're in the company of greats such as Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, all these people. They got into business between the 08 and 2012 time, right? So Byron Lazine, who was my guest last week, he got into business around 2012, 13, which is when really things really got worse. And here's the thing. You guys came through it because you learned from people that were there. You listened to people that were there who also didn't know what to do, right? So if you look at your first year and you look at the second year, you can actually see you tripled your business because you went from 1 deal to 3, right? And you actually did. Here's the thing, though. You took in coaching with Daryl Davis, and you used a certain framework, as we use a certain framework today, helping agents get appointments on a daily basis. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. It's just, meeting the other person from where they're at, where they are, and building a business as we talk to them and making the calls. How important to you, Carolyn, was actually making those calls? Because that's how you got your first listing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that, right? It's all about the conversations. It's a numbers game. It's a people business and a numbers game, and that's it. You just so we actually, for our team, we just actually did a script. This Wednesday we just started instituting, and I know you do this every Wednesday night, and I hope to join you one of these nights with my team. But we're doing it Wednesday around 11:30 to 12:30, where we practice scripts. And do some role playing. And I think it's really important because if you don't know what to say, you're not going to make those calls. And those calls are critical, especially now in this shifting market. You have to make those connections. You've got to make those calls, and you have to know what to say and feel comfortable saying it. And come from a place of authority. People can pick up right away if you know what you're doing or not. And so I think it's critical to build your skills.
Exactly. And building your skills is really important. That's why the name of my coaching company is Real Estate Skill Builder, right? So it's all about skills and upskilling. And it's a part of the business to not only know what to say, but how to say it. And that's why I do that dialogue session on Wednesday nights. And one of the great things that we've been doing lately is we do every day in-person appointment setting, which has really been helping the newer agents we have. And we do that every week. We use a certain framework. They go through the framework, meeting people where they are, as I said earlier, and knowing, how to talk to people. So that's been working really well for you. And has that been the main way that you built your business, was through the calling, or was there also a lot of other things involved there? Tell me about how you built everything up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, I learned very early on, and this is something that, I used to do Tom Ferry coaching too. And Tom Ferry is really big on, building your pillars of business and having multiple pillars and streams of income. And so, prospecting, cold calling is one, building your sphere and nurturing your sphere is another, online lead generation, open houses. All of those are avenues, to get business. For me, I did a lot of business networking. Like I was very active in the local chambers, the local, business associations, the local Rotary Club. Like I said, I didn't know anybody when I moved to New Jersey, like not a soul. And so I had to build from the ground up, and that's what I did. And I think the advice that I give my agents is, like, you've got to get out there and meet people, but do it in a forum that you're interested in, so like if it's the local gardening club, join the local gardening club, but be consistent, be present, and, bring value. And, if it's the local sewing club or whatever it is that interests you, like, just go and be present, because if you connect with people, they will know, like, and trust you, right? It's like every Chamber of Commerce's, tagline, know, like, trust. But that's what it comes down to. So I would say, for me, business networking was the way that I kind of, built my sphere here in New Jersey. And also once I started, doing business, then my past clients started giving me referrals. So past client referrals are important as well. And nurturing that past client community, is important. So I think all the things, there are a lot of different pillars. You just have to kind of find the ones that you're drawn to and then be consistent with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pillars of your business are really important. And I think I think, and I believe it's important to start with one and then add one on top of the other as you move forward. One of the things that you did, which is kind of unique, but I've heard a lot of people having to do it lately, is you parachuted into South Orange, New Jersey. I mean, that's where you came to, and it was okay. I don't know anybody. Now it's time to know somebody. Now it's time to build people. And you did it in a really great way where it was before social was really big and groups was really big on Facebook and stuff. And you actually did social networking, but you did it through the networking of the Rotary Club, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to just ask you a quick question about that is when you would join these clubs and these groups, a lot of people are a little bit shy, right? They may not be with their friends, but they are with this. Is there an easy way or a tip that you could give people when they join, a Rotary Club, or they join Knights of Columbus, or they join the Elks or whatever? Is there a hint so that you're not annoying when you join these clubs?
I mean, I think, be genuinely interested in what you're joining, right? I think the number one tip would be don't join for business, right? It's like you join to give, join to partake, join to get to know, join to care, and the business will come. But if you are, joining any of these things to immediately get a business lead, it's not going to work, and you're going to come off as, having commission breath and all of that. And so I would say, just be genuinely interested in the groups that you're joining and be genuinely interested in interacting with the people in those groups.
So when we talk about don't go for the money, but we've just said as part of a pillar of business, join the group. And it's a difficult mindset that agents and all of us need to understand is join the group because you're interested in it. So, and they say, meet people where they are, as I've said that already, but also don't go in thinking about getting business. But Carolyn, isn't that what we're doing though? And when we make the calls, think about how we can help people and don't go after it for the commission. But isn't that what we're doing though? Because this is the big question that is either said or thought about by most agents getting started. Help me with that.
I mean, that's a deep question. I would say,
Right.
To me, it's all about energy. And if you're focused on the result and what you're going to get from it, the energy that you're going to give off is that you don't care about the process, you don't care about the person, and you just care about the result. It's just like helping clients. It's like counting your commissions before you're done with a transaction. Like, I never try to calculate what I'm going to make, off of a client. Like, I really just try to focus on what their problem is, how I'm going to solve it, and then I know the money will come. So yes, it's a hard concept to really kind of fully understand, but you have to, because if not, you're going to get screwed. You're going to go down the wrong path and focus on the wrong things, and it's going to block you energetically. So I think you just need to be present in what you're doing.
I think you need to you got into the business for a reason. So let's think about the reason you get into the business. A lot of people, so some people say, I just love houses. I go to open houses all the time, so I might as well do something with it. Or I can set my own hours and make as much money as I want. Those are probably the two reasons I hate the most, because those are the people that really don't want to make any money because they don't work and they don't make any money. Anyway, just a thought, right? But
actually, hang on. So, just to touch on that, I think you and I the other day were talking about Jill Biggs from Coldwell Banker. She did a video recently, and she was asked, what's the biggest mistake that people come into the business thinking? or the biggest misconception about our industry. And she's like, people who come into real estate thinking that it's flexible, you know, are completely wrong, because it's only flexible if you don't want to work and you want to be poor. And she just, like, the way she delivered that line was so, it was like a boss, you know. It was like, it's true. It's like people have misconceptions, and there's, you know, there's, flexible is not the same thing as part-time. And I think a lot of people come in thinking, oh, it's flexible and part-time, but I'm going to get rich. And it's just not that at all. You know, you have to work hard. But anyway, I digress. I just
no, that was the next one of the next things I was going to ask you about was that quote, because I wrote it down and didn't get all of it in, and you just handle it, because flexible is one thing. I mean, I actually do work with many part-timers, because when I was a broker owner, let's face it, we didn't want to work with part-timers because it was just so much extra work. Oh yeah, I can see them at 6 o'clock, and I can see them on Saturdays and Sundays. You know, as a broker owner, who the heck wants to do that? Honestly, I'm not, you know, talking out of school, but who wants to really do that? You can do it for so long, and then mostly don't show up anyway. But I digress on that point. The point is that if you really want to do this business, you're going to do it, and you're going to get involved in it, and you're going to like it. And my point was that think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and is it fun? You got into it because, hey, this is going to be fun and make money, or I can make money and it's going to be fun. Choose the fun part first, right? As I said, we make calls every 5 days a week in a workspace we have. And the reason we do it is because we cheer each other on. We work each other. And you know what? The calls started out to be difficult. Now they're getting easier. You know, it's like everybody's coaching each other. And that's one of the things that helps. And if we can't be together in person, we're doing it through a Zoom call, like all of us on a Zoom call. But I digressed a little bit, but the point is to have fun with it, right? So when we talk about building a business, I mean, you built it individually and then you started a team. Talk to me about your team building exercise when you started to build that team, and what were the reasons for it, and how did you know you were able to do it?
So, you know, I think when you're growing a business, you know, you kind of look around you and you see like who's successful, and you kind of ask questions like, what are they doing that's working? What are they doing that's not working? So, you know, I saw early on that teams were forming, and they were, you know, and it just made sense to me. It's like, why be in your own silo and compete when you can come together and leverage each other's strengths and collaborate? So I've always had that mindset, and I always had, you know, the desire to bring people together and connect people and collaborate. So, you know, I did it early on. I mean, I've gone through a few iterations of my team, right? Trial and error, bring on people, maybe they're not the right fit. And so over the years, you know, I've learned some lessons, and, you know, one of them is you have to keep recruiting. You have to keep bringing in fresh blood. I think it helps kind of motivate those that are on the team. I think, you know, you're right. Knowing the expectation when you bring people on is important. Whether we have a few part-time people on our team, but they set that expectation from the beginning. And, you know, so we work with them in that regard. So I do think that there are some people who, you know, have to start off part-time because maybe they have another full-time job and they want to transition into the industry. I mean, there's some people who like genuinely can't just make the jump right away. And I like to work with those people. I think, you know, we had 2 years ago, we had a full-time teacher wanting to get into the industry. And for a whole year, she was a full-time teacher and did real estate part-time. And then she was able to transition full-time, you know, so it's like, you got to be patient with people. But I'm building a team. I mean, look, you know, I like to grow people. I like to share what I've learned over the years. I like to kind of package all of the training and the courses that I've invested in and repackage that for my agents. Yep, you know, my ops, my chief of operations, Jenna Kelly, is also very much like a teacher and an organizer, and she's, you know, probably our agent's biggest cheerleader. And she's created online manuals, you know, we call them trannuals, with all of our assets and all of our courses that we offer agents. And, you know, she and I have one-on-ones with our agents every week, to kind of, you know, shepherd them through what the priorities this week, what are the stumbling blocks, you know, and we try to really keep our team as a community. We really, you know, try to be helpful. And even though we're virtual, you know, we do have a co-working space that we work out of, but we do a lot of our team meetings through Zoom. But it's, you know, it's a community, and you've got to foster that. So I think a lot of people start teams and then don't understand that, or don't know how to, or don't take the time to. And I think maybe one of the reasons why I've been able to succeed in you know, keeping a tight team is that I actually enjoy bringing that extra value.
100%. I mean, that's really the point, is the last word you use, the value that you bring to a team. I know there's a lot of people out there that think about, or they say, well, I'm going to join a team, or no, I'm not going to join a team. I'm going to start a team. And one of the things I always asked them was, okay, great idea. Tell me, how are you going to bring value to that team? And what does that look like to you? Well, what do you mean? What does that look like? Well, what does it look like as far as structure, as far as organization? What are you going to bring to them? I mean, unfortunately, you know, having a team, as you well know, is work, right? It's almost like a brokerage within a brokerage. And that's the way people have looked at it, and saying, well, why don't you just have your own brokerage? Why do that? I mean, you know, we're with a company that's the best of every world, where it's one company throughout the whole country. I don't compete with you. I work with you, right? And even though you're not far from me, but you know what? We don't compete. We work together, whether you're in California, Florida, whatever it is. My point is really simple. The value you bring to the agents that you work with is what is the most important part of it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, case in point, I actually put it on our team calendar that you do your 6 p.m. course, you know, cold calling session every Wednesday. So, you know, there are some companies where they don't really foster collaboration among agents and teams. And then, right, you know, and then you have EXP, which is a completely different mindset. Right. And I don't remember really ever, when I was with Coldwell Banker or with Sotheby's, ever being invited onto my colleagues' podcasts, or our teams getting together to collaborate on a project or anything like that. It's just a different mindset at EXP. So thanks for bringing that up. Right. That's a big reason of why I came over. And you know, the hands that I've been extended by fellow team leaders in our industry from EXP has been amazing.
So, I mean, just it's interesting when we talk about models, right? And we look at the EXP model, you look at the Century 21 model, the Sotheby's model, the Remax, the Keller Williams. And I'm not forgetting anyone just in particular. Those are the ones that came to my mind. I was a Century 21 broker owner, and I know the system and everything. And I was as plugged in as I possibly could be. I'm in New Jersey. Their headquarters is in New Jersey. I connected really well. I still talk to former CEOs and presidents of that company who I consider friends. I was connected. And as much as I was connected, I was never connected as I am today. The collaborative effect is pretty amazing. And this is not a show about EXP. It's just the love that we have for this business that has allowed us to give as much as we can, and to do more with our business for people, to do more good. And I think that's a really great segue to get into something that you're really happy about, really proud about. It's kind of a side hustle that you have, and it's about a book. Mm-hmm. Tell me about what you got going. By the way, I just posted it on my page for your event on the 17th. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're super excited. I mean, you know, when I came 10 months ago now, when I came to EXP, I was I entered this world of, men and women, right? Like, I mean, Dan Beer, Cal Whistle, Kenny Trong, all those guys, super giving people.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I just happened to kind of fall into this circle of women who were just doing big things and masterminding. And when I got into that, kind of inspirational circle of women, I was really blown away, and I wanted to be able to kind of share the story. And so just to kind of give you a quick snippet, the idea came to me because I was actually at an event in New Jersey where about a dozen women who are in a women empowerment organization that I'm a part of called Believe, Inspire, Grow, were in the health and wellness industry, and they had gotten together to write an anthology, a book about their experiences. And I went to their book launch, and I met their editor and producer, and I went up to her and I was like, have you ever thought about doing this in the real estate industry? And she was like, well, not until now. And so I remember, I gave her my card. I said, I'm going to email you next week. And by next week, I was like, okay, that's it. We're writing this book. Here are the women that are going to be in it. Like, it's a done deal. So we banded together, 15 of us, and then including Tam. Debbie Beery, Glenn Sanford's partner, wrote the foreword, which I'm really excited about. And she's, been making great strides in the success enterprises and coaching field. And she's got her column in Success Magazine. And so I'm just really honored that she was, willing to write the foreword for us. But it's really a compilation of stories. So each woman has their own chapter in the book. And it just talks about our journey, what we stumbled across, what we overcame, and the lessons that we learned. And it's a very vulnerable, authentic book. And we are launching on Amazon. It's going to be going live on Tuesday. So we're going to have a big launch day on Tuesday. And then to kind of kick it off, then on Thursday, November 17th, and I think that's what you posted, we're having kind of a meet the author and Q&A session online live on Zoom, where we're going to be coming all together. The authors will be there. We'll be doing some a few talking points about the lessons and takeaways of the book, and then opening it up to Q&A. So we're excited.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. So here's I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about the book. So tell me, what's the favorite story you have from the other women in the book? Who was the favorite story for you?
I think it's hard to pinpoint one. I mean, I think, Megan Farrell Nelson in Florida she got super vulnerable in her story. And she's been through a lot in many different phases of her life, and most recently had to overcome something that is really unspeakable. And the strength that she has, demonstrated coming out of that situation is unbelievable. And she's a little light in our industry. She really, she's in Flagler Beach, Florida, and I would say that her story really got me. But like Veronica Figueroa, I mean, she is a titan in our industry, and to kind of hear her story of finding herself and finding her voice. I mean, look, she inspired me to join EXP. She inspired me to take my team to the next level. There's a takeaway from every woman in that book. And it's really, like I said, they all got very vulnerable. We really brought it in each of our chapters. You'll have to buy the book to read all the stories.
And I very much intend to do that, because it's exciting. And for me, honestly, my personal opinion on it is that I know some of the people in the book.
Yeah.
I know you, I know Veronica, I know some other people that are in the book. And I'm excited, even though I know some of the story, I want to know it all. I want to know how these people are that I'm working with and everything. And you know what? This industry has allowed me to learn a lot from a lot of different people. I can talk to you about as far as I'm concerned, probably the #1 coach in the world, John Cheplack. Bill Pipe's #1 sales coach in the world, right? Two guys that I've either worked with or am working with. And then, of course, Grant Wise, who I work with today, who's a genius in the ad space and getting realtors more business. So it's like, this isn't a soapbox for these people or for us, but it all comes down to, Carolyn, to what you said about how to build your business. And everybody's got the story, and everybody's got the issue, and everybody's got something. And here's the thing, that everyone is seen differently by everybody else. So if you just move forward and build your business and do, as you said, the pillars, right? You got to have some pillars to get started. I basically talk about 7 individual pillars that are a good starting point for everybody. You mentioned others that aren't even included in my 7. If you had something if there was a few things that you would tell a new agent or a newer agent or a stuck agent, what kind of advice would you get them to get them unstuck and to really get them going?
I think that the biggest piece of advice is put yourself in the right environment. So the brokerage that you pick, and do your due diligence. Interview teams, interview different brokerages, and really look at the differences, because there are some that bring so much more value. Look, I can only speak for myself, but what I found at EXP is a whole lot of big thinkers, a whole lot of people who take action, and people who collaborate. And, I feel as though the past few years has really kind of brought the rise of the real estate entrepreneur, 100%. And they are all flocking to EXP, and we are all here. Brent Gove has an event called One Big Fire. I feel like EXP is one big fire pit, and we are all around the fire pit, and the energy is real, and it's high, and we are all feeding off of it and bettering the industry, bringing better service, building better teams. And it's just, for me, it's, the place to be. And I'm glad
I can give you one other example that you won't see anywhere else, is being involved as a broker owner of a major franchise for 21 years. I was able to go to a lot of different conventions, and I spoke at these conventions. I taught at these conventions. I was involved with great companies as part of their presentations. And I never was at any event that a broker or an agent of Century 21 ran themselves, right? What we see here is EXP has 2 major events a year, but there's like 25 other major events that have really nothing to do with this company. They're just agents doing them, right? And they are for anybody and everybody. They're not like, well, you can't come, but no, anybody can come. We welcome it. I mean, we do local events, right? Which you were involved in. I thank you so much for that. We're going to do one every few months. We're going to do some smaller ones. We've got one coming up in the first week in January. Fuel Your Fire Live for 23, right? So we've got that coming up. And we've got some great speakers. You talked about getting involved earlier in short sales and stuff. We've got the great Matt Marinoff already signed up, who was a guest a few weeks ago on the broadcast. So it's all about giving. And that's what it takes to build a business, Carolyn, is to give as much as you possibly can. And don't worry about what's coming back, because the money's going to take care of itself. Right?
100%.
So basically what we've got here is we've got a great giving person in Carolyn Gosselin, who's joined us today, and a lot of stuff. So tell me, Carolyn, I have one question that I usually get to the end of with my broadcast. First of all, I want to just thank you for being on today. And I thought there's some great value. Can't wait. Everybody, if you want to get in touch with Carolyn, just double check these numbers on the bottom of this. Is this the way to reach you?
Yep.
Great. And then there's the IG, which we'll put up as well. So, there's a lot of things and a lot of value you have. We have the November 17th event coming up, which is on Eventbrite. If you go to my Facebook page, which this broadcast is on, you will see the link in the comment to join that broadcast, as well as the promo for it. And we look forward to that. But I have one other question for you before we finish this great broadcast today is, how do iDate Finale help you grow your business?
Wow. Well, I think it's a two-way street, right? And I think it's all about collaboration. And I mean, I think you're putting on some amazing events. You're putting out some amazing content. Just inviting my team to your, to your courses, to your, role playing sessions, all of that. Like you're a giver. So I think just by nature of being who you are and the content that you put out, you're really impacting us all. So, let's just stay in touch and,
Absolutely.
keep the
Absolutely.
conversations going.
So just want to say that, we're on every week. This is Real Estate Talk, TGIF, and it is brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Next week, we've got the great Travis Tom, who is the ear and voice of Facebook. If you didn't know that already, he is the founder of Elevated REM. And Travis is going to be on. He's been on before. He's going to be on again. Great, great guy, great innovator. But of course, today it's all about my friend, Carolyn Gosselin. Carolyn, thank you so much for coming on. And I don't want to forget that I know, everybody comes on because, I'm kind of a likable guy, right? But, I know what the bottom line is. I do get it. Everybody wants a hat. So,
Yep. Not me.
Everybody wants a hat. So we're going to make sure you get your hat. And everybody, thank you so much. And again, it is November 11th. I don't know how you say Happy Veterans Day, but thank you to all the veterans out there. Thank you all the people that serve. And, a lot of heroes out there as well. And thank you so much. Carolyn, thanks so much for coming on. Stay on for 1 minute after we finish up. And everybody, don't forget, we'll be back next week. And, just as Carolyn said, every Wednesday, the dialogue session, we're on Wednesday nights. Join us. We start at 6 p.m. We're going to be doing a big relaunch in December of the dialogue session. So we're going to have a session next week, and we're going to take off for a couple of weeks. And we got a big relaunch coming December 14th of the dialogue session. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching or that will watch, and keep rocking it. Carolyn, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to get to this. Let's see. See, it's all about technology. And you know what? It's like being a one-man band, Thank you.
Well, you're doing it well. You're handling it very well. You've got the background and everything. So kudos.
Doesn't want to end. So we are waiting for this to end. We are in end broadcast and it's not ending for us. So anyway, here we are.
It's going to let us go.
It won't end for us. I am hitting end broadcast and having trouble connecting. Okay.